Hi everyone, my name is Kaylie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, so I am sorry if you're seeing this video late because I slept over my dad's last night because I had to watch my little sisters. So I slept pretty much all day. It's like 4:15. I fell asleep until 3 o'clock. And yeah, that's the tea, I guess. But let's get straight into today's story time. I'm going to bring you guys up close. There we go. Okay, so just the usual rundown. For most of the video, I will be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. Most of these story times are told in a first-person point of view. If you don't like that, then you can hit the road. And most of these story times are sent in by anonymous people. My skin is like super dry right now. Also, this story time does involve drugs. If that is a trigger warning for you, maybe go and watch one of my other story times from my story time playlist. Okay, story time about how I was betrayed by my best friend. So a little background information. I was 16 and in 10th grade. Okay, I'm gonna warn you a little bit. I was, to put it nicely, a little crazy in 10th grade. Summer was fun, but when baseball started up, I was having the time of my life. And it was too cold outside for bonfires, so we were having house parties instead. And since I went to a private school, everybody pretty much had money. So these houses were nice as fuck. Like, there was probably not one house that we had a party at that didn't have a Lamborghini in the garage. Out here living my dream. And I had a low-key psycho best friend named Amy. A little background information on Amy. Her and I were complete opposites, but got along extremely well. She went to public school, I went to private school. Her home life was not the best. Mine was pretty good, I would say. And she did not live in the nicest area. She actually lived in a very dangerous neighborhood that I actually wasn't allowed in. But we had been best friends since the start of high school and we were pretty much invincible together. Until I threw a rager party at my house, which led me to tell my parents about her and I's drug problem. She literally OD'd off coke at like 3 in the morning. And of course I freaking panicked. So I called my parents and of course they were going to tell her parents about it. Like, what kind of people would they be if they didn't? She would have had to go to the hospital either way and they would have found out what the hell she took. She was just acting very stupid about the whole thing and she literally did not talk to me for a whole month. Well, then softball season came around and we started hanging out again. It was definitely nice to see her and get to talk to her, but part of me still felt a little off about what happened before. But eventually we were back on our bullshit again, doing drugs 24/7. I will say that it wasn't nearly as bad as last time, for me at least, but it was still kind of bad. It got to the point where we were bribing her brother to give us clean piss every week because we both got drug tested on Sundays. Eventually summer starts to creep up and Amy and I talk about possibly going on a trip together because every summer at the beginning my parents would plan a trip for us to go to the Hamptons for a long weekend, which in reality it was about 2 weeks. Anyway, she offered to come with me, and that being said, she got all pissed off for me not wanting to ask my parents to buy her plane ticket. Because every time, like, she was over my house pretty much 24/7, even this time around, and they would pay for everything for her. Anytime that we went to the mall, my mom would give her money and stuff like that. And my parents and I really weren't on good terms because I was being drug tested 24/7, so it just wasn't a good idea for me. But it got to the point where she was like yelling at me and stuff like that, so I just decided to ask my parents. And they said, sure, she can come, but she has to be drug tested. Her parents have to check her bags before she comes and everything like that. which is kind of understandable. Like, you did OD at my house, so why are you mad? Well, that one really set her off. She texted me telling me that I should kill myself. We're not friends. We were never friends. Blah, blah, blah. Just a whole bunch of fucking bullshit. So, of course, I text her being the adult one, and I tell her to calm down and we will talk about it when I get back. Because I had planned to talk to her about it sooner than later, I talked my parents into getting me a flight home early. Well, this is where things start to get a little crazy. And by a little, I mean a lot. And you get to see why a crackhead bitch will always be a crackhead bitch. Those weren't my words. That's just what was in the story. So, the day comes where it's time for my parents and I to leave. We go to the airport, and my dad loves to show up to the airport early. For what reason, I don't know. He's just one of those freaking people. Well, I guess that our plane had hit some birds or something like that, so our flight was delayed about 10 hours, and we only lived like 25 minutes away from the airport, so we just decided to go home, sleep, and get a snack. So we drive home, and when we get to my house, we see 2 cars at the top of the driveway. Weird, right? Yeah. But then we also saw that all of our lights were on in our house. So at this point, we're sitting at the bottom of my driveway, and we had like, our driveway was super long. So we were sitting all the way at the bottom, and you had to go all the way up to the house like that. So my dad decides to call the cops, and we back down to the beginning of the driveway, and we block the entrance / only exit. Well, I guess they heard us because we saw people running out of the house and literally trying to leave in their freaking cars. They hit my dad's car trying to get out of the driveway. Well, as one of the cars drove past, it was a car that belonged to this guy that Amy had been talking to. By talking to, I mean fucking. Well, back after her drug overdose, when her and I stopped being friends, she started hanging out with these seniors who were definitely not good news. And when we became friends again, she would hang out with them less, but anytime that I was busy, those were her go-to people. So I told my parents about it. They talked to the cops. So the cops sent somebody to go and follow up on that, but they told us that it could be a while before they actually find anything. I don't know. They just said that it would take a while for them to catch these people, probably. While that was happening, we walked through the house and realized a bunch of our shit was missing. Like, they must have got there as soon as we left. All of our jewelry, designer clothes and stuff like that, fine china, it was all taken. It was all gone. Our house looked like a fucking tornado whipped through there. And like I said, Amy knew these people, so of course I call her and ask what the fuck is going on, because I refuse to hang out with these kids whenever she asked me to, so I don't know them from a fucking hole in the wall. So later that day, we didn't end up going to the Hamptons, by the way, obviously. But later, I'm on Snapchat, and I see a black screen posted on Amy's story that says, "The only way not to get stabbed in the back is to take away the knife." What the fuck are you talking about, you delusional ass bitch? Eventually we get a call from the cops later, and they are outside of Amy's house. Apparently when they pulled up, they were looking up the value of all of our china. Like, girl, what the fuck made you think that you can sit outside on your porch after you just robbed my house and get away with that shit? She just has a few screws loose, literally. At this point, I honestly thought the whole thing was funny. The 2 dudes actually had to serve 3 months in juvenile detentions, and Amy had to do 6 months at rehab for setting the whole thing up, as well as being a crackhead. She cried her eyes out in court and said that her life was hard and she was just jealous of me. Then she said she was forced to do it, yada, yada, yada. Her parents sent her to military school after rehab, and I stopped using drugs all like that. Now they're just an occasional thing. I'm on my senior year of high school now, and definitely learned my lesson about backstabbing friends. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of me, maybe hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know when I post my next video, make sure to hit that bell. Also, if you guys want to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the link down below. But other than that, I love you guys, and I will see you next time.